They are on kind of a time limit. They have to have an immense amount of pressure to sort of force the opposite team defensively, but yeah. It can be hard to score a kill against a Hunter, a Ret, and a Rogue.
I'm so excited to see these two teams play. And of course, the very first map of this best of 3 to determine who goes to the semifinals is in the Grand Arena. Ooh, Felorea's transmog game is definitely on par though, for real.
Ooh, that axe.
It's like a Vanguard.
That axe.
They got the reference. That axe.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we get it. Okay.
Sorry, Supa. Alright. We have I'm Sorry, xaryu, Felorea, mageiden, and CMG going up against Every Kill Begins with K, Evangeline, Dillypoo, and Kubzy. 2 amazing teams. I'm so excited for this one. But that's not a Boomkin. That is the Shadow Priest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Much more standard.
This is a strong comp. I mean, this is a comp I see a lot on ladder now, replacing the typical Resto Druid with a Holy Paladin. Offers a lot defensively as well as offensively. Having that Hodge every 30 seconds can be devastating.
Hodge into disarm is like something you just can't avoid, and you're kind of stuck through it for 8 seconds. As well as the recent change to Trank Shot means Dillypoo won't be able to get these bops off, so they act as a second ice block almost for mageiden or CMG, whoever they decide to go on. I think Evangeline is trying to react to the composition decision back here and come up with a strategy behind the pillar. I think they were probably expecting the Moonkin variant to come out. Even Kubzy just throwing out some wraths, trying to poke them down a little bit. Evangeline finally coming out. Let's see if they choose to find a target. Evangeline pulling out immediately, though. He doesn't want to push into that death trap. Getting Hodge back there would be almost his bubble guaranteed, I would think. But at this point, CMG's probably built up 3 orbs. mageiden also trying to get some icicles with the frost bolts. Dillypoo getting dispelled there on the VT. Maybe a cleanse on his pet. It might be there dispelling that, so he might be playing that cleanse glyph, which might backfire him with that VT. But they're popping Bestial Wrath immediately. The Crows onto mageiden, Fist onto Felorea. They need the trap out of it, though. They're not going to be able to get the Wyvern Sting lands! 7% HP, almost into the kill shot range. A DR trap onto Felorea now as well. CMG trying to put the pressure onto Evangeline, but having to block that early is not what you want to do. Evangeline taking the time to try and kill the Water Elemental, but Felorea is going to keep it topped off as well. Not going to let that Water Elemental fall. Evangeline just pulling back, trying to wait to get back onto mageiden as soon as possible when that Crows comes up. Feels like they are just trying to kite away and wait for that Murder of Crows to get the burst onto mageiden. There's the Fist onto Felorea. mageiden going for the deep Ring of Frost. He does get locked on it, but he lands the Poly afterward. There's the disarm onto Evangeline, possibly the Fist afterwards. He's going to trinket immediately with the shield wall as Kubzy's into a DR Polymorph. Goes for some Flash of Lights. He's trying to fear the Shadow Fiend right now, but he's not going to be able to get it. The Fear lands there, Devouring Plague onto Evangeline, but Kubzy's not in any CC right now, so he should be able to keep Evangeline alive. Now finally into the Silence. Dillypoo getting pressured a little bit here using the Camouflage, trying to push up onto Felorea. 30% HP. He gets the Iron Bark, Fist onto Felorea, possibly a Trap or a Wyvern Sting out of that. Eventually trying to push in onto mageiden. No CC just yet onto Felorea. There's the full Wyvern Sting finally. mageiden at 70% HP, but he's playing all the way back. CMG getting swapped to 30% HP. That was the Murder of Crows. Forces the dispersion almost immediately, as well as the Save by the Light. And Felorea has to play catch up.
Yeah, this is going to be a scary position when wings are up again for Evangeline. CMG is not going to have his Disperse available. Evangeline caught into the Hodge by Felorea. It looks like they're trying to do some damage to him, but he's just playing so safe, so conservatively. When they don't have the CC, he's just sitting behind a pillar, making sure he's not taking really any damage, and it's hard for this God comp to really get anything going. But yeah, they're trying. I mean, they're chasing down Evangeline, and this Cupid cleave is really, they're playing so passive. I mean, they're just waiting and playing it smart. You know, they're just waiting till they have Hodge. There it is, a Hodge onto Felorea. Hopefully Dillypoo can get the trap out of it. That's exactly what they want to do. The Wyvern, and now they're going to try to force some pressure. You know,
wings and
really
Murder of Crows out. Onto CMG with no dispersion. Felorea answers with the Avenging Wrath. He's trying to keep him top, but he's kind of getting global through it. A Fist onto Evangeline. He still has that Avenging Wrath to use afterwards, though. He's just going to use it right now, but CMG's pulled out. Kubzy blinks to the center. He gets sacked as well. He's keeping his Ret Paladin Evangeline topped off. Felorea into the trap. He's going to trinket that immediately. CMG trinketing as well. Now the Fist onto Felorea. Uses the Freedom to try and reduce the CC. mageiden getting pressure to 50% with the remaining amount of... that was an insane heal from Felorea to top mageiden off, though. His Avenging Wrath is now over. I feel like Evangeline maybe got a little bit anxious there and just popped it. He might have wanted to wait till the Avenging Wrath was over for felorea, but he did use it there, so they're going to have to wait till the CDs come up. Dillypoo going for a Wyvern. He gets feared up on it. Double fear with Deep Freeze Poly onto Kubzy. That's the cross CC you're looking for. Fist onto Dillypoo. Kubzy gets sacked out of it into a silence now. He got the Iron Bark up before the silence, though, which is giving Dillypoo the time that he needs to stay offensive in the center of the map. There's the fist onto felorea, possibly the trap, but he gets polymorphed. He's not going to get it. The Wyvern Sting lands instead. He's pushing up to try and get the half trap. The half trap's going to land. Mageiden might be into the second block. Crows is up 30%, going for an invis even. He gets life gripped back, but the block is used. Nonetheless, felorea into a Cyclone from Kubzy, trying to go for another Cyclone even, but he should be able to pick Mageiden up for now, but he does have one block. He has Cold Snap coming up just in time, so he does have one more block remaining. A Deep Freeze on a Kubzy. There's the cross CC earlier happening again. Fist onto Dillypoo. Devouring Plague is up. Comet Storm connects into the disarm. 20%. Shadowward Death Range. Kubzy with the clutch. Heart of the Wild Heals, though, gonna top Dillypoo off in his moment of need right there. There you go, buddy. You're fine. You're fine. That's just a close one.
This is exactly what they need to do. I mean, Dillypoo is the one who is a lot more susceptible. He has to run in to actually get CC. So if they can get cross CC on Evangeline and Kubzy and get Dillypoo caught into that Hodge disarm, they can burst them down really fast, and really doesn't have that many defensives outside of his trinket. Last time that happened, Kubzy did have to use his trinket as well as Heart. So let's see if they can make it happen again. Cupid not able to get too much pressure out onto this God Camp, still playing a little bit conservative. Kubzy caught into the deep, into a full fear. He is able to freedom that, so it's going to be short on him. Silence does come out with Dillypoo having to trinket that disarm. So now they're in a position where Kubzy and Dillypoo have no trinket, but the wings come out from Evangeline. Mageiden taking a significant amount of damage. felorea going to pop those wings to try to top him off immediately. But felorea still has his trinket, his bubble, 2 bops, War Master. He still has almost all his defensive cooldowns left, so I don't think this God Comp is actually in too much trouble. When the next time Dillypoo and Kubzy get caught in that CC chain, could be really scary for Dillypoo.
Yeah, and Dillypoo doesn't have his trinket. That's what they're looking for, is the opening with the Fist of Justice into the Horrify, so he can't deterrence, which almost happened earlier, and Kubzy's not going to have his trinket. There's not even a sack available, so if they push out now, it might be trouble. CMG into the full clone. He's going to sit that trap onto felorea. Mageiden kiting around with the blazing speed, managing to LOS Evangeline for now. He's got the icicles build up. There's the full fear onto Kubzy. Disarm onto Dillypoo. No sacks available. There's the Fist out of it, but they need the damage. Silence on the Kubzy. Overlap with the Deep Freeze. Halo comes out. Devouring Plague connects, but he's going to be able to get the deterrence off without the CC. He doesn't even need to. Gets disengaged behind the pillar here with Kubzy. Gets topped off. He still has both of his deterrences. That could have been a scary moment. The God Comp kind of dropping the ball on the damage there. The barrage coming out from Dillypoo, pressuring Mageiden now with no blocks for 48 seconds. felorea still, as you said, trinket and bubble available, but it's kind of speculative by me that he still has those cooldowns available this long into the game. CMG now with no trinket still has a dispersion. There's the Horrifying to Dillypoo. felorea pushing up possibly to get the Fist out of it. The fear is going to connect, but with no CC on a Kubzy, Dillypoo deters. It's going to go for the revive pet. Unfortunately, his pet dying in the meantime. It's going to force one of his deterrences to get that out. But they need to get the pressure rolling. There's the Bestial Wrath. There's the Murder of Crows. There's the Dilly Barrage. Fist onto felorea. Mageiden at 60% HP. 40% HP. Steals the Sacrifice. Wyvern Sting onto felorea. Pops the Avenging Wrath. Trying to pick Mageiden up desperately. They're turning it around onto Dillypoo, though. Ice Nova connects. Kubzy pushing in. There's a trap onto CMG. Defensively, Dillypoo pulling back. Once again, Devouring Plague is up, but his Trinket's going to be up. He has another deterrence. Both these teams have stabilized with Cold Snap returning to Mageiden.
Yeah, Mageiden, like you said, has that Cold Snap available. The wings coming out from Evangeline, trying to get out some pressure. Hodge onto felorea. Mageiden taking a significant amount of damage there. He might be forced into that ice block. He's desperately holding onto it while felorea is not. So you see the clone comes up, but felorea was able to actually top Mageiden there, and they're just spamming out the polymorphs onto Evangeline, trying to CC him on those wings, and they weren't able to really force any defensive cooldowns from this God Comp with those wings, which is unfortunate. Silence comes out onto Kubzy. Dillypoo getting Devouring Plague, getting Ice Nova, a lot of damage coming out onto him, but Kubzy not in any more CC, probably going to be able to top him off.
Second Devouring Plague even coming in. Ice Nova connects. He's going for the Barrage and the Murder of Crows. It forces the bot, but he's almost in Shadowward Death range. Evangeline with the clutch Flash of Light, but now Evangeline into the Polymorph. Dillypoo with the Knockback Trap. Disengaged, trying to kite away from CMG. Kubzy into the Poly. Instantly sacked by Evangeline, but now into the Deep Freeze. No trinket available. Fist onto Dilly. No trinket available onto him as well. If they get the Horrify out and the damage connects, it could be it for Dillypoo. No Horrify, though. He goes for the Feign Death. He's going to be fine. Kubzy comes out of the CC. Second Ice Nova comes in. Defensive Trap on his CMG. dispelled by felorea before the fist landed. They were trying to go for a cross CC play. Dillypoo's pet dying once again, but he manages to get the revive off in front of the entire team. He's still trying to pressure mageiden, but he still has one block available and one bop. Silence on the Kubzy, disarm onto Dillypoo. Fist of Justice up in about 2 seconds should they get. He got the Iron Bark off before the deep freeze though. Dillypoo is able to survive, but he does dispel a VT from using the Mend Pet Glyph, and now he's put into the full fist. Iron Bark is tidying him over though through the Common Storm. Devouring Plague connects, full fear onto Kubzy. No trinket, or sorry, he does have trinket, but he doesn't want to. He gets put into the half ring out of the fear. Good play from mageiden there, but the fist onto felorea. They're going to try and turn it around. He lands the trap, 360 no scope. Bestial Wrath, Murder of Crows comes out onto mageiden. Felorea, without any CC, pops the Avenging Wrath, tops him off with the Word of Glory though, and has bought him a second life through this round of cooldowns. Evangeline's wings are coming up though. As long as he can save them, wait for Felorea's Avenging Wrath to fade this time around. Deep freeze though onto Kubzy, disarm onto Dillypoo. Fist of Justice is available, and there's the Fist of Justice onto Dillypoo. No trinket for 10 seconds. Devouring Plague connects, 50% HP, but he's going to be able to live eventually with some clutch heals, keeping him alive while Kubzy was CC'd. Now the turnaround, mageiden into the block, Felorea into the fist. He needs to get the CC out of that though. The Wyvern Sling's going to connect. Mageiden finally without any blocks. Maybe this Cupid Cleave can push through.
Yeah, he has a block in another 30 seconds. It's Cupid Cleave having to get through so many cooldowns, and if you look, Dampening's actually at 29% right now, so it's going to be really hard for Kubzy and felorea to keep their team up. Dillypoo taking a lot of damage right now, but no CC out onto Kubzy. The Iron Bark does come out from Kubzy, trying to avoid as much damage as possible onto Dillypoo. Bash onto CMG. Felorea caught into the Hodge. Could be a trap out of that. He is able to freedom it, so any upcoming CC will be short on him. Meanwhile, CMG taking so much damage, down to 50%. It's going to be hard, like I said, for these healers to actually top their teammates now, with Dampening being so high.
Yeah, the second and final bop coming out from felorea onto mageiden. Dillypoo into the full fist with no trinket. Deep freeze onto Kubzy though. Evangeline desperately spamming out the flash of lights, trying to buy his teammate the time to get the deterrence off. He's gonna get it up at 46%. Kubzy finally out of CC. He has the Heart of the Wild available as well for the extra healing. The fist onto felorea though. He's trying to go for the trap. He's gonna knock mageiden away. Life grip though onto felorea to try and negate the trap. A clone onto CMG. Trinkets immediately. The Wyvern Sting connects onto felorea though. Evangeline with his Avenging Wrath up in 30 seconds could get the kill here, but mageiden has a block to answer it when that time comes. Mageiden blinking in for the deep freeze onto Kubzy. There's the cross CC. Horrify onto Dillypoo. Ring of Frost lands and gets sacked immediately by Evangeline. Dillypoo gets the Iron Bark on the Devouring Plague, but he is fisted here with the Comet Storm connecting. Silence onto Kubzy. Heart of the Wild's up. Devouring Plague comes in. 30% HP. Evangeline with these clutch heals all the time, keeping Dillypoo alive, but he's trying to retreat. Polymorph finally onto Evangeline. He trinkets. He's trying to keep Dillypoo going. 30%. Mageiden in the meantime eats the trap onto felorea, and he's keeping his team offensive. There's the Murder of Crows though. Dillypoo in the center of the map with the Dilly Barrage trying to pressure mageiden. Deep freeze onto Kubzy. Eventually with the wings, mageiden needs to be able to get the block. He's going to answer it immediately. Polymorph onto Kubzy. No sacks available. Disarm onto Dillypoo. Mageiden might come out of this, get the half polymorph out as well. Fist of Justice is available from felorea. He's going to sprint in, but he gets fisted before he can get it. He has to bubble to keep his team going, but Dillypoo at 18%. It's going to go down. CMG and mageiden staying alive, even in the face of 41% dampening.
It's just so hard for this Cupid to really do anything against this God Comp. I mean, felorea has 2 bops. He has his wings to always top. Mageiden, he basically has wings to counter wings, and mageiden having block as well as bop. It's so hard for them to get anything going.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to take a quick look at that replay, though, at the very end there. I mean, Dillypoo, basically, this team was just exhausted of cooldowns. They forced Mageiden's cooldowns, but like you said, Ven, it's just so hard for him. Yeah, the triple CC going here onto Kubzy as he goes into that full fear. Aurora sacrifices on Dillypoo just wasn't enough. That's Devouring Plague into a Hodge, and that's going to do it. And this God Comp with the Holy Paladin just made so many setups on the Dillypoo to the point where their whole team was just exhausted, and we were at nearly like 43% dampening or something incredible. It's nuts. Crazy.
Yeah. It's weird too, because that game, it's not like that was a slow-paced game. Both teams were forcing cooldowns, but both teams have so many cooldowns they have to rotate through, you know? It's like they were getting pressured, but they always had a response for it. Kind of just have to wait until dampening, so you have to like overlap responses, I guess, to a significant amount of damage. But yeah, it's hard.
Alright, so the next map chosen by this Cupid Cleave is going to be on Dalaran Sewers. I'll see you guys in there.
Any comp switch-ups?
No. No comp switch-ups.
Another thing to sort of note about this matchup is, like, the longer dampening goes, a big part of Cupid's defensive play is Evangeline's heals, and if his heals are being significantly reduced, I mean, this God comp, their big advantage is that they have an incredible amount of crowd control, and that's not really affected too much in dampening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a solid point to make, yeah.
But mageiden, even without his brother generics, still pulling it off with some good synergy with felorea and CMG. Pull off a close game though from both sides. Definitely is a cooldown game. Like the Avenging Wraths, every single cooldown being micromanaged is key to either team winning. And you see when they both manage it perfectly, it goes for so long. Even though you would think like both comps are very bursty, but it just goes for so long. Mageiden going for the invis this time around, possibly some early polymorphs on a Kubzy while he's pre-hotting. He's not in stealth right now. Mageiden opening in the center with the frostbolts, generating the icicles. CMG with the vampiric touches, building up the shadow orbs, going for a mass dispel onto the Hodge there, but he's not going to be able to get it. Mageiden getting pressured really hard from the early Avenging Wrath, but felorea answers it with his execution sense now into the Wyvern Sting, but he did sack the Wyvern Sting, so that's going to break immediately. Disarm onto Dillypoo into the Fists of Justice. He's going to trinket immediately. Got double Devouring Plague though, 47%. Kubzy not in any CC, gets the Swift Bend off now into the Silence, so he got the Iron Bark up before, but another Devouring Plague coming in onto Dillypoo. He disengages to the pillar, and S comes out from Kubzy, eventually now getting swapped to at 65% in the center. Fist of Justice onto felorea. Dillypoo trying to get the CC out of it. The trap is not going to land. Mageiden eats it with the Blazing Speed play, so negating all the pressure here from Dillypoo, and eventually they realize the situation. They're going to retreat back, wait for their Murder of Crows, wait for their Fist of Justice, wait for their opportunity to strike. CMG in the meantime is just dotting up whatever he can to build up the Shadow Orbs. Mageiden as well, frostbolting whatever he can, killing off Chimpo the pet back here. Might be key here. They did kill Dillypoo's pet twice last game, and that Mend pet dispel on the Vampiric Touch has put Dillypoo behind a lot. Deep Freeze onto Kubzy though. The fear lands out of that. Felorea into the full Wyvern Sting. Unfortunately overlapped a little bit. Now the disarm onto Dillypoo. No trinket available as the Fist of Justice follow-up. It might be the end for him. There's the Fist of Justice follow-up. They just need the damage. Ice Nova connects. Devouring Plague is up 50%. Denounce is even coming in, but Kubzy's not CC'd any longer. He's going to be able to heal just fine through it. Mageiden still has both of his blocks, though, and both buffs from felorea. Kubzy with his trinket still, eventually with his bubble. Dillypoo sitting comfortably with 2 deterrences, but no trinket, though. And he realizes that he's just going to stay as far away as he can until that comes up. A bash onto CMG, possibly maybe a Cyclone out of that. Maybe. Not going to go for it, though. Felorea into the full Hodge. He does life grip the trap though, so good play from the God comp so far to avoid these early traps and keep their cooldowns.
Yeah, and I like what the Cupid doing. I mean, they did the same thing last game where they sort of sit back and wait for their Hodge and trap to be up, because that's really the only thing they have going for them to get a kill, and if they don't have those up, they're not going to score a kill, so there's no reason for them to be out in the open getting spam polymorphed. Meanwhile, Evangeline getting bursted so hard through wall, actually. He has his defensive wall up, and he gets bursted down so hard, an incredible amount of damage coming out of this God comp. His bubble does get MD'd. He has the wings up, trying to counter pressure. CMG down to around 30%. Felorea blowing his wings to try to top him off, but that was an insane amount of damage by this God comp coming on to Evangeline. Felorea into the trap. CMG not out of the woods yet, still taking a significant amount of damage. Saber the Light comes out, or Master comes out by Felorea, trying to get as many heals out as possible. Meanwhile, Dillypoo taking a lot of damage, caught into that Fist of Justice. Kubzy not in any CC though, so should be able to just top him and heal him off quite easily, but that was incredible.
Yeah, and eventually realizes that he doesn't have many CDs left. He's pulling back. The Pet Nova is going to land on everyone. Nice stampeding roar from Kubzy to break that route, though. A bash on a CMG. No CC follow-up just yet. There's the Fist of Justice on a Felorea. Dillypoo going for the Wyvern Sting. The Wyvern Sting, unfortunately, not coming out. He got polymorphed on the Wyvern Sting cast, which means Felorea will have the time to sacrifice it. There's the disarm onto Eventually into the Silence! Might be at 30% HP! Ironbark's not enough! Gonna die before the NS. I actually think the NS went through and he died through it. But holy moly! I'm sorry, xaryu is going to say, I'm sorry, Evangeline, you were dead.
Yeah. That was a good silence, too, preventing any sacks that could come out from Evangeline or Divine Protection. That was one of the big things that actually scored them the kill there. But, I mean, dang it. What can you do? That was a great series, though.
That was a phenomenal series, and like the 2-0 does not give that series justice because it was intense. I want to give a shout out to Every Kill Begins with K. Thank you so much, Dilly, Evangeline, and Kubzy for coming out and competing, man. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys again because you guys are so good. But I'm sorry.